Haha, okay. I think it worked. Hello, everybody. This has been a while, but as some of you may have seen, I've been upgrading my internet connection, so maybe I can finally stream if this actually works. We shall see. With me on Discord is Chibi, aka Reese. We're going to be playing some Star Trek Online. Say hello, Reese. Hello. If anyone ever decides to watch. Let me see.
What members of the Star Trek community decide to watch this?
If any. Let me see. Ooh, that was sudden, very sudden. Okay. So yeah, I'm just chilling around the vault. What the hell is that? It is a taking a while to load, whatever it is. I have a funny feeling.
That looks Romulan from what I'm watching on my side here.
Oh, and it's gone. Bye. Oh. We have very bad FPS. This is not a good sign. Okay. Let me see. Got some duty officer stuff flashing at me here. Admiralty. Collect rewards. Oh, this is not good. Galactus. Oh, that's what that thing's calling itself. It's the Efekiri Dreadnought Carrier. Okay, so it's the same race as that.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it's the same race as that the T6 that you get for the Christmas event.
Right.
So I'm in instance 7. Where are you at?
I'm currently on a space dock. I was working on updating my crew's ground abilities, my away teams. I just need to alter my engineering officers' abilities, but I'm in instance 16, if that helps you at all. In fact, I tell you what I will do. I will invite you to the team, because that's always very useful. One level away from cap, which is fantastic. I managed to get to 64 yesterday.
Yeah, the double XP weekend was quite handy.
Oh, it was very handy for quite a lot of us.
Oh yeah, well,
as well as the dilithium mine.
Yeah, that was my boost. I managed to get some dilithium mining claims. Little did I know that each one would amount to like 10,000 dilithium. So yeah, during the week.
I was not that way inclined. Sorry. Yeah, you managed to get quite a lot of dilithium.
Yeah, well, in fairness, I was mining across 6 characters, which took up a lot of my time. Unfortunately. You are fighting at Fleet Admiral. Although I did craft some new pistols. Oh dear. Oh, okay. I was running the wrong direction. And still am. Are you like in the Admiral's office or something? Alright.
Yeah, I'm just below, talking to the training
Gotcha.
manual person. Yeah. I think I've got what I need, though. Let's see how this goes. Shoot, generator. There we go. Alright. Captain and... Oh, Admiral
yeah.
now. And Bonnie McCorm reporting for duty, of course.
Okay.
And Bonnie Cormac.
I wonder does this work? Oh wow! Yeah, neat.
Yep. I'm still unsure of how I can type my emotes without having to go through the menu, but there we go.
Yeah, it's like /EM and then what you think it might be. So I took a guess, and salute worked.
Yeah.
Oh,
/EM.
I'm getting a little bit of rubber banding going on.
So yeah. So for the audience, just so they understand, my knowledge of Star Trek is very limited compared to Stevens, because I think he is very much the expert in this field of pop culture.
I think expert might be pushing it slightly. I'm sure there's some other trekkers out there who are like, oh, but oh, well, at least it wasn't that guy that tried to correct me on my shop. Oof.
Yeah, your Etsy shop where you're making some very nice, authentic. Well, as close as you can get to the official,
paraphernalia,
yeah,
essentially. But it's like, long story short, this guy tried to like fake gamer girl me. Is the best way I can put it.
Well, actually,
well, kind of like, well, actually, but I think you'll find that it was this, and I'm like, no, it's not. So I have like a badge up from all the Next Generation line of things, and so I have a pack that is the standard comm badge, the Future Imperfect, and the series finale All Good Things. And he was like, yeah, you have the All Good Things badge as Future Imperfect, or the other way around or whatever. And I was like, Future Imperfect is the Romulan simulation, not the series finale. Basically, it was long story short, because just because the series finale happens somewhat in the future does not make it the Future Imperfect. So cool. Cool story, Grandpa. Okay, so I'm gonna beam up to the ship now.
Yeah, I will follow you. So you get to see our wonderful, wonderful ships that we've been working on.
Wonderful nuclear whistles. That's a Chekhov reference there.
Yeah. Because the thing is, the vessels themselves are not powered by nuclear engines. They're powered by antimatter, aren't
which, theoretical kind of, and as something, it's something we were chatting about a while ago, is that modern technology has been influenced by the likes of Star Trek and stuff, which is amazing. Like, I don't think anyone could have conceived that the touchscreen pads that they use in the show, like in the 60s, people are like, what? An entire computer in your hand,
in the palm of your hand. A mobile communication
on your
device.
Chest? What is that about? And now, like, people instead have Bluetooth communicators in their ear, and they walk down the street and they look insane, and you're like, I hope that person has a Bluetooth headphone on, as they're having a full-on argument with no one. Okay, cool. So let's go out and
Yeah.
find some action. Okay, so
Yes.
departing. Yeah.
Should we
departing
go to system then?
Oh,
or-
okay. Somebody exploded. I'm just glad my ship.
Because I've. Yeah, you've been having problems with
Warp
your
core.
poor Defiant
Yeah,
model.
My warp core loves to do this really fun thing where I'm warping out to sector and it charges up and it's like and then slowly moves forward. It's almost like only kidding. We don't have warp drive. Anyway. Oh, cool. We have a. Oh, Monty is playing the OVR toolkit. We have. Deep Space Encounter to our east. Assimilate the barbarians.
I wonder who that is in reference to. So, in regards to my Star Trek knowledge, I have watched Generations, the film, a long time ago. I've also seen a few episodes of TNG and Voyager, and a bit of Deep Space Nine when it was airing in the UK back in when I was a kid, like in the 90s. But I have never watched the original series. I have never watched any of the original series movies either. And I've watched the Kelvin timeline movies, which I quite
enjoyed
liked.
them.
You know, personal opinion, I quite liked them. I would be very interested to have seen a series based around those movies, but from what I hear, they've never decided to go. forward with
It's
that.
looking like I don't know. We're not in the inner echelons, I suppose, but it's looking like that series is done. You know, the JJ had his trilogy. Well, even though was it Justin Lin did the third movie, which I rather enjoyed. You know, it's the movies of Star Trek have always had that kind of, oh well, we're trying to pull in a bigger audience type situation, you know. So, you know, they're a little bit different to the show as a whole. Oh, we're fighting at level 30.
Level 3.
That's all right. I
We should do okay. Yeah, I've recently started Enterprise with Captain Archer. That is alright.
Oh, whoa.
No,
Dr. Sam.
That cube just exploded as soon as it walked
It's just
in.
there now. No.
Dr.
No,
Praxis.
I'm saying Dr. Sam Becker. Because
Oh! Yeah. Oh, I have watched
He's got, like, if you click on his shit, buffs he has, and things going on.
Oh my god! Like, what the hell is that? Like, he's one-shotting everything, practically.
How do we get that kind of optimization?
What? What is your build, my friend? Like, what is that?
I'm sure that there'll be someone who's watching this, or maybe not, because nobody's watching it. He's like, oh, well, it's quite simple. If you know...
Like, he is carrying this for us. He's in a Nihydron Destroyer, tier 5.
Wow, it's only a tier.
I have no idea what that means.
Boosted as well. Giving us some kind of like full buff. Come on, fire!
Put this one. Dude is one-shotting everything.
No,
So bad. Yeah. We're your support.
Here
yes,
to
we
look
understand.
Yeah, oh, cute. Yeah, let's go. Like, that's what's gonna happen now in 2 seconds. Yeah, there we go. I got some shots.
Full volley. Like, Jesus, how many buffs is that? Like, what the fuck? So I
Stream Deck to have it tied up to like. There's no chance to fucking do anything. He's just killing everything.
I mean, efficiency, but
Yeah.
still, guys. Good God.
Fire one torpedo up. This ship is so fast. What the fuck? Imagine if we were able to get a look at his hull and stuff. James was very angry.
Oh, yeah. James would probably go, what the hell is this?
And he has fireworks too. Okay. Let's get his details. Don't warp out. No! Don't warp out. I need to see
Info.
your stuff. Okay.
Oh, he's a fleet admiral.
It's not that powerful. Like biography. Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
42,000.
biography. Well, aren't you the nosy one? And then a bunch of like nonsense. The island of misfit toys, diplomatic rank ambassador. Like, what is going on there? That's so weird.
I
Yeah.
am astounded and impressed, Scott. Human, Starfleet
Wow.
engineering.
Well, might as well depart the sector.
Yeah.
Looks like our work
I mean,
here
At
is
least we
done.
had.
Wowee.
Oh dear.
Wowee. That was certain.
I feel
know, right?
so useful. Oh, there is another deep space encounter to our north, by the way. Hopefully Scott won't invade this.
Yeah. That's the thing, is like, where's Scott? The other side. Like, you see him like heading towards the deep space encounter. Go away! Like, oh dear. Right. Engaging slipstream. Because you got a head start. Oops. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. There we go. Managed to get in. Okay.
So I don't think I've actually asked you the origin of the Hibernia name.
Okay, yeah.
For your
ship. So, James actually asked this a while ago, and it's not clear, I suppose. Is that so for the people watching at home, I pilot the USS Hibernia, and Hibernia is the Roman Latin name for Ireland, and I am Irish, so that it's literally that simple. But yeah, I mean, oh, something's shooting at me already. Oh, the Terrans.
Oh, that would be the Terran science. Science, I think.
Find you now.
And I am flying in it's a Sol class ship. One of the ones that has been piloted by Commander Wright.
Now,
It is it's now the USS Attenborough, which is a tribute to famous David Attenborough, naturalist, scientist. When I say naturalist, I mean he is a person who studies nature, not a person who goes around.
this is more like it. We do have some galaxy. Oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
See the
my abilities is I can call in holographic ships.
You typically just along the lines of stealing aggro. But no, they actually attack.
Yeah, they provide more DPS. So be quite useful. I'm still quite unaware of what kind of build I should be running on this character. It is my first time playing this game, but I am used to playing other MMOs. Normally as a yes or as a tank. Although I have thoroughly. Trying to figure out the builds.
One of the problems I'm having so far, in terms of a really simple fix for it, I just don't know yet, is that if I set it to like hotkey, will activate, let's say it's control 4, it will also activate 4. It's so weird. Oh, I think I know what it is. I think I know. Who's firing? Who dares?
Oh, I see what I've done here. My hotbar has been altered a little bit, and I will need to change it later. That's the one downside of this particular MMO is that depending on which ship you're in, the hotbar changes. Does take a lot of time away.
The world, is somewhat set year 2409. The way it goes, like it's gradually becoming canon. I don't know. There's certain elements that are kind of coming through, like certain ships and certain events. Unfortunately,
At the moment, at this time.
Aaron Heisenberg, unfortunately. Yeah.
We do have him representing in this game.
Which is dialogue, obviously. Probably on the game because it's the sort of tutorial. And that is one thing I do really like about cast in tutorial dialogue.
Including the late range.
A lot of the narration things. it's hard to remember like certain story elements, you know, because there's so much Star Trek, and there's a couple of conflicting elements, much like with Star Wars, but at least Disney tried to rectify some of that. Not all of it, but oh, there, it did it. It did it.
Not all of it. Some of
Did
it.
the thing.
It did the thing that it wasn't supposed to do.
No, it did the slow moving away. It's so entertaining.
Okay. It's like I could just imagine your captain going to the helm officer like warp 9. It's like, yes sir.
Yeah.
I said warp 9.
Well, at least it's not like one of the biggest problems I have. Like, okay, so getting into like controversial, unpopular opinions or what have you. Like, Next Generation, not my favorite. That's fine. It's not everyone's favorite anyway. But there are some things in both the original series is forgiven in a lot of ways because of the time it was. Like, it was the 60s. Gene Roddenberry wasn't even sure it was going to be popular. Like, continuity wasn't even a thing in shows. Like, a lot of shit just didn't matter. In the Next Generation, however, there was one thing that bothered me more than anything else. And it was, oh, we've just got a distress call. Alright. Set a course. Warp 4. And you're like, why the hell are you going warp 4 to a distress call? You're capable of going warp 9. Just do that. Oh, how long will it take us to get there warp 2? 2 days. You do realize the warp scale is exponential, right? Like, it's not like it's a you know, it's like miles per hour. It's like an exponential scale of power, essentially. And so warp 2 compared to warp 4. Warp 4 is not double the speed of Warp 2. It's probably like more along the lines of to the power of 3 or something like that. So it goes up exponentially. So Warp 9 is like infinitesimally faster. But they're like, no, it's fine. Just go Warp 5. We'll make it to the distress call sometime tomorrow. But you're like, oh,
We've got to keep to that. Got to keep to that subspace
well, there was
speed
a subspace
limit.
speed limit as well, and they kind of just forgot about it. Like, so it was a very important thing in lore that warp speed was affecting a certain area of space, and you could tear open holes through into subspace, which, as you could imagine, is quite dangerous. And it was like, right, well, to mitigate this, we're going to set a speed limit of warp 5. It was warp 5. And then straight after that, you're like basically into DS9. DS9 like started around season 6 of TNG. And so you started into that. No talk of it whatsoever. And then another 3 years later, you started into Voyager. And like Voyager was just like, fuck it, warp 9.95. Like, let's push this baby to the max. We don't give a fuck about the Delta Quadrant. Just rip a hole right through it. Don't care. I suppose that's just Janeway, really, I guess. She was just like, I need to get my babies home. She was like a mother hen by the end of it. It's like, don't you touch my babies. And people are like, why was Ensign Kim never promoted? He was an ensign for 6-7 years or whatever. You're like, wow, that seems a bit excessive. And I actually think that Janeway saw Ensign Kim as like her baby. I was like, no, he has to be a baby forever. He can never be promoted. And then, like, it'd be so funny. Like, he gets back home to Earth, and they're like, "Wait, you were an ensign for how long?" Oh no, God! With the experience you've had, you're a commander now. Like,
No,
just yeah.
I mean, Yeah, you're a veteran of the Voyager
Yeah,
project.
wow.
Like, goodness gracious
Okay,
me.
so we got a couple more. Let's not go into a simulate. Orion Slavers up to the northeast. Let's go there.
But it is quite funny that you talk about like Warp 9 and that sort of stuff, because I am starting my Star Trek like experience with Enterprise now. I am literally watching everything as it has unfolded historically in the Prime universe, as far as I know. Like I'm trying to watch it from the beginning with Captain Archer and his crew. So when you're talking about like oh yes, the speed limit is now warp 5, I'm finding it very funny because their max speed is like warp 4.95, because if they go any faster, the ship will literally shake itself apart.
And of course the engines they haven't. Like, I love that one of the things I love about Enterprise is the limitations of them all. Like, everything has limitations. Like, things are only so powerful because we only have this much technology, essentially.
Like they don't even have shields yet. They have hull plating, which they polarize, and I'm like, well, what does that do? That does nothing.
I've always
polarize the
about
hull
that
plating.
One. Like, one thing I do know about Enterprise is there's a lot of firsts in it. It's like, the first time they use a phaser, or the first time they use like a photon torpedo, or this kind of stuff. Like, really kind of interesting, cool things. But yeah, the energized hull plating was something that I never really got. Like, I can understand how it would help with with energy weapons, but like, what do you do in the case of a torpedo? Like, just because the NX Enterprise doesn't have torpedoes doesn't mean the Romulans and the Klingons don't. Like, wait.
It's quite funny because like one of the recent episodes I've watched is the first time that they actually encounter the Romulans. Like, and from playing STO, I know that the Romulans, like, what they look like and their like kind of motivation. But in that episode, you don't see them. It's literally just their ship, and it's like, we are from the Romulan Empire, Star Empire, and then you see like to Paul with their Vulcan science officer just kind of like go, oh no. Like, she doesn't say anything, but you know that she knows more than what she's letting on. Oh my god, it's
the only kind of expression she was allowed to have. Like, Vulcan. I think that was acting thing must be so interesting.
Oh yeah, I can imagine it's a big challenge person. Because like as a performer myself, like I am taught like emoting is like one of the biggest things that you can do, like to show like, character, etc. But when you are challenged with the fact that you cannot emote, you cannot feel, but we as humans obviously do. When playing a character that is human, or playing a very alien type character, I imagine that's very difficult. Props to
But it's one of those things where you hear stuff like, Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't a great actor, and you're like, you have any idea how difficult it is to play a robot? Like, legit, like a robot.
And play a robot in a language that is the first language.
Like,
well.
yeah, sure. Arnold Schwarzenegger wasn't going to be Oscars anytime soon, but he's not a bad actor by any stretch.
The thing that there was a lovely reference to the again, first thing that's literally just come along is the use of tactical alert, which then becomes, they're trying to figure out the name
Red alert,
for what to call it, and then it's like read alert, because the tactical officer is Reed, and it's like read alert, and I'm like, oh, I can see what you're doing there, your reference, but dear God, that was something.
Sometimes
that was a reach and a half.
Clever, but it's really not. It's a Family Guy thing of like, oh, they mentioned the name of the movie in the movie. I love when they do that.
I mean, personally, I found it endearing, but it was also a bit cringe. So, I see what you did there, but I actually quite like the use of tactical alert. It is a very good name for it. But Red Alert obviously comes from the original series, and it is fantastic to see how these they make reference to the Prime Directive as well, like the write a directive. Like I'm going through this fresh-eyed and like some knowledge, so it's fun to kind of like get these sort of like hints as to what's going to happen down the line. Discovery which will be next. If this continues to be like a series that we do, then I'll let you know how it's going. People who are watching, because I'm sure there are plenty of you out there who would be interested to hear.
Oh yeah. Everyone's got opinions about Discovery, that's for sure. Like I personally.
Oh dear, and I'm sure I will be wrong. I'm sure my opinion will be absolutely
I
wrong.
like Discovery. I don't agree with every choice they make, but like, you're never gonna, you know. Or this is a good hypothetical. Like, if you're given the option to be a good guy or a bad guy.
Oh. I mean, if you're being called in to do like a new series from the beginning, then it would be interesting to play like like for me, like it'd be interesting to play a character who has some prosthetics, like a Klingon or like a Denobulan or something like that that isn't makeup intensive. Like, I would say personally, because oh dear God, I don't know if I could stand being in one of those chairs for like 8 hours a day.
Oh, it happened again.
Like having done a bit of extras work myself.
Yeah, like, because famously, Renee, who played Odo in Deep Space Nine, hated his prosthetics, and if there was ever an episode where he got to like not have them or have minimal amounts, like he was like, "Yep, let's do that," because he hated them. Absolutely. Who was it?
So. But if it was for like a bit part, like like I come in and play like one character for one episode, then yeah, sure, I'd go.
Well, then you see, that's the beauty of it, is when you can play, and like there's so many actors who play so many parts in Star Trek, and of course a perfect example of that is Jeffrey Combs, who plays in Enterprise. He plays. God, I can never remember his name, but he plays the Andorian, who basically has kind of a love-hate relationship with Archer. And he played the Vorta, Weyoun, He also played Brunt in DS9. He's in The Next Generation once as well, I think. Or even the actor who played Tuvok. He played a Klingon Deep Space Nine, but then he also played Tuvok in Deep Space Nine. Like, yeah, they love reusing actors. Absolutely.
I think that's one of the good things about the flexibility of it, is that you can be whatever you want to be in this universe, really. I mean, there's so much creativity with sci-fi and fantasy, I feel like, and the one thing I like about Star Trek so far is the fact that it is very representative, of a lot of different cultural differences. Like one thing I like about Phlox as a character, besides his general demeanor, oh my god, his general demeanor as a doctor makes me very happy. But also the fact his culture seems to be polyamorous, from what I can tell. The Denobulan culture, and that is very interesting that they decided to represent that within a prime time show. So yeah, I do like this approach that they're going with it, and it's something that has obviously been around since the beginning with Star Trek. The famous fact that they showed the first interracial kiss. As well.
Which, I mean, it's funny. It's how we've discussed, and not to delve too deep into it, but when I hear people talking about Star Trek and then going, oh, they're trying to force diversity, or they're trying to do this kind of thing, and you're like, have you ever watched Star Trek before? Like, that's pretty much its whole bag. It is like inclusion and sure, back in the 60s, Gene Roddenberry was a bit sexist, and that was widely documented. But he learned and got better, and the Next Generation, for instance, was where they famously changed the line of where no man has gone before to no one has gone before. Little things like that makes a huge difference for some people. For instance, one of the things that older fans who don't like the newer stuff, shock horror, kind of have this notion. They cling on to the notion that in the original series, there's an episode where there's a woman who is basically, she's an alien, but the way in the original series everyone was an alien, but they just like put some glitter on them and a weird hair, and boom, they're an alien.
A different colored dress, like a green dress. She was chastising
humanity, saying that, oh, you don't even let your women become captains in your federation. And so, when you have Discovery and you have Captain Georgiou, who is played by Michelle Yeoh, people are like, oh, whoa, like this completely like goes against the original series. Like, you can't have a woman as a captain because of this episode. And it's like, you know what? Yes, you can. Fuck it. Like, this is their series. They changed it, even though it was a throwaway reference in one episode of the original series, which so much has been retconned as well. Like, so much of the original series has been retconned.
I mean, bear in mind as well, like, that person as a character probably had an isolated incident with the Federation. If we're going into like headcanon theory, like, I imagine that she probably hadn't met any of their female captains. Like, she was, that is a possibility. The thing about the Federation, from what I can tell, is it is very much about diversity.
It is weird, though.
And this is exemplified in Captain Archer from what I've seen so
one thing
far.
to be said though, is that I know it's a budgetary thing, but when you come across Federation starships, they're mostly human. Like, you know, and it is weird. Like, yeah, you get the odd alien essentially, but when you think about it, the Federation is made up of thousands of worlds and hundreds of races, and you'd expect there'd be more, but yeah, maybe not. Well, I mean, what do we know, right?
I mean, that does come from like a limitation in regards to prosthetics and, you know, technology that we have. I mean, from what I know of the original series, they were, you know, compared to, say, Discovery, like, they were obviously using kit models and things for ships as well, like, so yeah, they wouldn't have been able to do all the fancy pyrotechnics and CGI magic that we have for our current, you know, era. I mean, going back like heck a few years ago with the first Jurassic Park, like, that film is incredible for the time, but if you look really carefully in some parts, the CGI is still a bit iffy.
My issue with that statement, though,
but
is nowadays you don't even have to look closely and the CGI is ropey. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many examples I can think of. Like, the trailer for Snyder's Justice League dropped, and they had that image of Steppenwolf, and he looked like something from like a late 90s graphics card, like the box art of a late 90s graphics card. Like, that was some ropey CGI, and seeing the fans pull some linguistic gymnastics, shall we say, trying to justify why it looks like that. And you're like, it looks like that because they've done it on the cheap. Like, they cheaped out. They're gonna be reshooting all the scenes, so they have to hire back all the actors and stuff. Like, it's not like
that's going to cost a lot of money, especially with like some of the actors' schedules. I mean, Henry Cavill, especially nowadays, considering the fact.
But
that
not even that. Like, as far as we know, as far as we can tell, Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck don't want to do it anymore. You know, so they probably have to pay extra because they're like, "Oh, do you want to be Superman again?" They're like, "We already quit ages ago." Yeah, but what if we give you extra money? And they're like, "Oh, okay." like, yeah.
Do I have to shave?
It'd be like Harrison Ford with like Rise of Skywalker. You just know for a fact that they paid him probably more than anyone else on set for that 5-minute.
I just missed the event, by the way.
Oh, the part of the system.
Yeah, it's okay.
It looked very weird though. Oh god, there's one of those like, oh yeah, I actually went to warp this time. It was actually one of those weird winter T6s there. That was odd.
Neither of us have gotten that, by the way. Mainly because we started the event far too late and realized very quickly that it was nigh impossible for us to get it.
It's fine.
So
it doesn't look that great anyway.
I mean, we could always spend Zen to buy it, but
yeah,
nah. There is one in the Kihom sector, by the way.
So you may hear that word Reese coming up. Maybe not so much in Enterprise, but certainly at some point is so that's a Klingon territory known as Khitomer, and there was a huge battle there a long time ago. so bloody and awful and gross that they both decided to go, you know what? Maybe we should have a peace treaty of some kind, and they have the Kittimer Accords, and that's basically where, you know, they put aside their differences. Essentially.
Well, it's funny you say that. The last episode that I watched just today was based around the Klingon justice system, and one of the characters who was introduced in that was their version of a lawyer. He was a very interesting character because he made the statement. I forget his name. Kolo maybe, but he made the statement that, do you think all Klingons are warriors? And I thought, well, that's amazing as an idea, that, you know, you have Klingons who are not stereotyped for their bloodthirst and their, you know, their warlike tendencies. And it made me think, like, this character's going to endear themselves to me very quickly, and I like the fact that you can, because my experience has always been with Worf as a Klingon. Like, he is a very kind individual from what I remember of him. You know, he's a very traditional in regards to, like, his naval role. But he's still a very good person. Whereas, like, some of the other Klingons that I've met in Enterprise, they've all been the stereotype of, I'm a Klingon captain who's piloting a warbird, and, you know, I'm going to shoot everything because I'm, you know, that is the Klingon way.
Well, Worf was raised by humans. Funny enough, and it's one of those weird things of, because he was raised by humans, it's very much more delved into in Deep Space Nine, but it's one of those things of he's basically described as having, like, all the values of Klingons, but none of the fun. Like, it's kind of like, he read a book on how to become, and all the book basically said all the traditional stuff, and obviously it's not going to cover, you know, their passion and their, you know, I suppose how they enjoy partying. Klingons enjoy a good
And it's quite funny because I've got two Klingons myself as officers on my ship. One who is a tactical officer, and one who is a science officer. And I was when I got my science officer, I was thrilled that I had a Klingon science officer.
Like, they're Klingon and Romulan birds of prey. Figure is that there was a trade of technology and stuff between the Klingon Empire and the Romulan Empire, and that's why both of them have cloaking technology. So I would imagine the Romulans that came up with the cloaking technology.
It's more in line with their style, to be fair, from what I know of them as well. But from a technical standpoint, from a behind the scenes standpoint, it's quite obvious that they have used ships budgetary.
This is what I was saying about forgiven because there was, like, a lack of continuity
this was a Romulan ship, but it's a Klingon ship.
Look
How does
completely
this happen?
different.
I mean,
Yeah,
this
the
was
original
green.
Romulan ship was green. With a big picture of a bird painted on it.
it's the name Bird of Prey.
I prefer the look of the Prey.
Klingons?
And then later Romulan ships, like we see, there's no official names for them, but like we have the Lokai and the Warbird in this. I think those ones look pretty boss. There's a weird Enterprise. You see the Romulan looks better, like much better than people go, yeah, well, technology limitations and stuff, but at least trying to keep it in line. Like, it's not even the same color. There are genius.
And it's the continuity standard. And this is like a multi-decade franchise. Like even going into other stuff like Doctor Who, for example, Star Wars. There will be mistakes made because somebody didn't do their research. End of the day, it comes down to the fact that you don't have the materials to properly go back and go like, oh, so the ship was this color at this time. You don't have like a creative document because a lot of these productions they will do these things and they'll just destroy the sets, they'll destroy the ship, they'll destroy the models.
Yeah, I mean,
because they've got nowhere to store
a really
them.
good example of that.
You know what?
Super Sentai Power destroyed because they didn't think they'd need them. Saban Brands comes along and goes, I want to make an American
You just give us some footage of your
and
fight.
they were like, any problems or stuff you have is great. They were like, we don't have anything to destroy it all. So it wasn't until like maybe season 2 of Mighty Morphin where like the likes of the White Ranger they got access to the proper things because Toei realized, oh shit, they're actually making a lot of money off it, way more than we ever made on Super Sentai. Charge them more and we'll give them the real stuff.
It's funny because that all started because of Marvel as well, in a way. Because originally, the Marvel wanted to license that and create a series around it, but of course the higher ups at Marvel they didn't agree with it, and that whole deal fell through. But then Saban got their deal, and it all went great for them.
Power Rangers is with Hasbro now, which if nothing else, it means we'll get better toys. Because the Bandai stuff is fine, but it's like Bandai have this thing of, oh, just give the West whatever crap, whereas with Hasbro we know at least that we'll get decent, like, because Super Sentai will still have their stuff made by Bandai, but the Power Ranger stuff will be exclusively made by Hasbro. So we will get decent toys on our end, for instance. Whereas, yeah, the Lightning Collection
Collectibles
is
as well, I'd
what
imagine.
they're calling like their premium brand, I suppose. Whereas with Bandai, it was called the Legacy Collection, and
I have one of the
Yeah.
Legacy Morphers as well, the
I've got
original Mighty Morphin,
yeah, I've
which
got
is a
so much
beautiful
stuff.
collectible.
Like,
Beautiful collectible.
got the Morpher, Megazord, Dragon Zord, the Dragon Flute, the Red Ranger Power Sword, Saba. Yeah, I got so much of it just purely because I love Power Rangers so much, and I've yet to see the episode with Austin St. John coming back into it.
Yeah, to be fair, I heard about that. I would love to watch that at some point myself, but my personal experience, like I grew up watching Mighty Morphin as well when it first came out.
Of course.
I watched the movie when it went into cinemas, like with Ivan Ooze, and the Turbo movie as well. Oh, looking back on them now, they are cheesy.
So good though.
They're incredibly cheesy.
Like,
but they were fun as a kid.
Watched
they were
the Turbo
so
movie.
fun.
The Turbo movie, I can't remember if that was like straight to DVD type situation.
I think it released in cinemas. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it released in cinemas. Also, I have hit max level today, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was basically Ivan Ooze was actually a fantastic character. I thought he was brilliant. A little heavy on the pop culture references, but you know, for a guy that was trapped in an egg for however long. Yeah, Rita seems to know him, and it's a very confusing movie. Although I do remember reading, and I could be wrong, but the actress, I'm forgetting all their names now, but the actress who is in like one of the, I think she's in Law and Order Special Victims Unit. She's like the head detective in that. Was supposed to be the tribal woman on the ninja planet, and then for whatever reason she didn't do it. But like, yeah, there's often times where you see those kinds of recastings and stuff, and you think how different it would be. Like, you see the test footage. There's test footage for Voyager of a different woman playing Janeway. Oh, that Deep Space Encounter disappeared. Bugger. Okay. Screw it. We'll just go back to the Sol system and maybe call it a night there. But
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, you gotta.
I can get my new ship.
Another Tier 5-esque ship, I think. I can't remember. But yeah, there's a different woman playing Janeway, and she was French, I believe. And they just kind of went, yeah, this isn't working. Like, just as cold as you like, I suppose. And yeah, it's not working. It's like the different actor playing Marty McFly in Back to the Future.
Yes, I've seen some of that. That footage, and it is very interesting to see a different performer play such an iconic role, because you're so used to that kind of like final product with Michael J. Fox, and it is very odd to see that same scene where he's in the diner,
Yeah.
where he's like seeing his father for the first time, and you see it's a different
And it's
actor, and
funny
you're like,
because Eric Stoltz
don't know how to
looks
feel
far
about this.
more like George McFly.
Yeah, he does. He looks
Yeah, I
so
found that really
close.
interesting.
But
But yeah, it's so odd, and the reason being apparently is just it's not that they didn't like Eric or they didn't. It was purely a case of the tone that he put across with his performances was just a little bit too serious. Whereas they wanted something a bit more lighthearted, and then Michael J. Fox came in and well gave us Marty McFly we all know and love. So.
And the interaction that he does with Doc and everyone else, like, it was some very good casting. In those
Even more
films,
so
I
when they
feel.
picked a different
Like,
actress for Jennifer in the second movie, and expected us not to notice.
Yeah, and nobody notices that half the time.
You only really notice it really if you watch them back to back, because they
Yeah, and for me as well, it was pointed out by, I think, my grandfather. He said, "Yeah, they use a different actress," and I was like, "No, they don't." I look back and I was like, "Oh, they do.
Yep.
They really do." Oh, goodness gracious me! Oh, I'm completely lost now as to what I need to get, because I can't remember.
I think you look at the Vice Admiral level, possibly. No, not Vice Admiral. Rear Admiral, maybe, or yeah, Rear Admiral, I think. And there's
Oh no, it is the Vice Admiral, because I have the opportunity to get the Intrepid
oh yes, I see.
retrofit.
Yes.
So yeah, it'll be the Intrepid retrofit there, which is the Voyager ship. Yeah, I think the only one that I can actually get is the Intrepid class there. I'm not able to get.
Did you get maybe the heavy cruiser refit or something? Maybe
I can have a look, see if I can get in it. I could get the heavy cruiser. I could get the exploration cruiser refit or retrofit. I could also get the Defiant retrofit as well, the tactical escort retrofit.
Or you could get a Warbird.
But I am playing. I could get a Warbird.
Could you not get
actually, I can't get a Warbird.
I don't know. In the Vice Admiral, I'm looking
they all
at
cost Zen.
Fleet Tavaro light Warbird, Fleet Dalen Warbird, Mogai heavy Warbird, the Deradex battle cruiser, Hapax advanced Warbird. I don't know what if they work with your token, but they're here. But
no, they don't. They don't work with the token. That was what I meant. Apologies.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd probably get a Scimitar because it's huge.
Like Falchion, Tulwar, and Scimitar, and I'm assuming it's just a case of what consoles. Yeah, it's what consoles are available. So the Scimitar is more tactical. The Falchion is more engineering, and then the Tulwar is more sciencey. Two universal stations though. That's pretty nifty.
Yeah, that is very nifty. So, in the game, as far as we know, the universal stations are the ones that you can use with any officer within your fleet.
I've one universal station, and I crammed a science officer into it. So I think. Oh, I can have a specialization on that. I think. Huh.
Well, considering the fact that I am sticking with the science-y theming, I will take
They
my
are a great
wonderful,
ship.
lovely Intrepid class ship, I think. Yeah. So, and I will definitely enjoy using that as my current ship. I'm very fond of the
Yeah.
Voyager style, the Intrepid class ship. But yeah, if that is all I can do now, because I don't know what I can. I haven't. I will say that I haven't
Yeah. Well,
chosen my
you can switch
specialization
them out on the
yet
fly, so that's not a big deal.
as a captain. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of things still that we are unsure about. So I'm sure that we'd like some guidance if anyone knows anything as to what we should probably look into for this.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is this is a good place to call it. All right, see you lads. My security escort decided to beam out, but yeah, it's a good place to call it, I guess. So anybody who watched at all, I don't know if you did or not, but this was a good oh yeah, good call. There we go. Bye. Oh, the little smile as well. See you later.
Bye.